Do you ever feel a little dizzy or unsteady the moment you stand up in the morning? Maybe you sit up in bed, swing your legs over, and for a second the room feels like it's catching up to you. Or maybe your knees feel stiff, your hips feel tight, and the first few steps to the bathroom feel more like a shuffle than a walk. If you're over 60, you probably know exactly what that feels like. Those first few steps of the morning can sometimes be the hardest ones of the entire day. The good news is, they don't have to stay that way. Most of us reach for coffee the moment we get out of bed, before our body's even ready to stand. But that sudden move is actually why you feel that morning brain fog and stiffness. Today we're going to show you 5 simple moves to do first, right there in bed, before your feet ever touch the floor. Stick around, because at the end, we're going to tell you something about that morning coffee that might genuinely surprise you. Let's talk about why mornings feel this way in the first place. Because once you understand what's actually happening inside your body, these 5 moves are going to make a lot more sense. While you sleep, your whole body settles into a slower rhythm. Your heart rate drops, your blood pressure eases down, your circulation, especially in your legs, slows to a crawl. That's completely normal. That's what rest is supposed to look like. But here's the problem. When you suddenly sit up and stand, your body has to catch up fast. It has to push blood back up against gravity, all the way up to your brain, in just a few seconds. When you were younger, that system responded almost instantly. As we get older, it responds a little slower. Researchers call that dizzy, catching up feeling orthostatic hypotension. In plain English, it's just your blood pressure dropping because your body didn't get the memo that you're standing up. And this isn't just an uncomfortable feeling. A large review looking at over 50,000 older adults found this drop in blood pressure upon standing was strongly linked to a higher risk of falls. 50,000 people. That's not a small study. That's a pattern researchers are very confident about. Now let's talk about your joints, because they have their own overnight story. Your joints are cushioned by something called synovial fluid. Think of it as your body's natural motor oil. It's what lets your knees, hips, and shoulders glide instead of grind. But when you're lying still for 6, 7, 8 hours, that fluid thickens up. It gets syrupy, almost like leaving honey in the fridge overnight. The moment you start moving again, that fluid warms up, thins out, and starts circulating properly. That's part of why the first few steps of your day can feel so much stiffer than the rest. And then there's your circulation, especially down in your lower legs. Hours of stillness means blood can pool there instead of moving freely back toward your heart. This is exactly why hospitals have patients perform simple leg movements after surgery, even before they're allowed to stand. It's not just for comfort, it's for genuine, measurable safety. So here's the idea behind today's 5 moves. Before you ever put weight on your feet, we're going to gently wake up your circulation, your joints, and your muscles, right there in bed. Think of it as warming up your body's engine before you put it in gear. It takes just a few minutes, and it can completely change how the rest of your morning feels. Let's start the countdown. Number 5, ankle pumps. Here's how to do it. Lie on your back with your legs extended. Point your toes down toward the foot of the bed. As far as comfortable, hold that position for 2 seconds. Then pull your toes back up toward your shins, holding again for 2 seconds. That's 1 pump. Do 10 of these in a row. This movement is borrowed straight from hospital recovery rooms. In fact, it's one of the most recommended movements after surgery, anywhere in the world. Researchers looked at dozens of studies and found that these simple pumps are one of the best ways to keep your blood moving and prevent clots. Here's why it works. Every time you flex your ankle, your calf muscle contracts, and that contraction acts like a small pump, physically pushing blood back up toward your heart. It sounds almost too simple to matter, but the research on this is remarkably consistent. Move slowly and deliberately through the full range of motion here, rushing through it, just wiggling your feet quickly. Doesn't give your calf muscles enough time to properly contract and do their job. Now that the pump is working, we need to address those creaky knees. This next move is like oiling a rusty hinge. Number 4, gentle heel slides. Lie on your back with both legs extended flat. Slowly slide one heel up toward your hips, letting your knee bend naturally. Keeping your heel in contact with the bed the whole time. Slide it as far as comfortable, without forcing anything. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds, then slowly slide it back down to the starting position. Do this 10 times, then switch to the other leg. This move takes your knee through its complete range of motion. But because your leg stays fully supported by the bed, there's no pressure or weight bearing down on the joint itself. Remember that synovial fluid we talked about earlier? This gentle sliding motion helps pump it back into circulation, easing that stiff, creaky feeling so many people just accept as a normal part of mornings. Keep your movements slow and controlled here, especially on the way back down. That slow return is often where you get the most benefit. Number 3, supine marching. With your knees bent and both feet flat on the bed, slowly lift one knee up toward your chest. Bring it as high as comfortably possible. Then lower it back down with control. Switch to the other leg. That's one full repetition. Aim for 10 repetitions on each side. This move activates your hip flexors, the muscles responsible for lifting your leg every single time you take a step. When these muscles weaken, people often start to shuffle instead of stepping normally, which means feet barely clear the ground, and even small trip hazards become genuinely dangerous. Supine marching is a gentle, safe way to keep those muscles engaged before you ever put weight on your legs. Try placing one hand on your lower belly as you do this. You should feel your core gently engaging too. It's not just your legs doing the work here. Take a second right here, deep breath. You should already feel a slight warmth or a tingle in your legs. That's your circulation finally waking up. We're halfway there. Your coffee is waiting, but your body is about to thank you for finishing this. Number 2, modified single leg lifts. Stay lying down. Keep one knee bent with that foot flat on the bed for support, and extend your other leg straight out. Slowly lift that straight leg a few inches off the bed, keeping it fully extended. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds, then lower it back down slowly. Taking your time on the way down, repeat 10 times, then switch to the other leg. This move brings your hip and thigh muscles into play together, the same muscles that help you catch your balance if you ever start to trip or stumble. Strength here isn't just about walking more comfortably. It's tied directly to how well your body can recover in that split second when something unexpected happens underfoot. Focus on that slow lowering phase. Letting the leg drop quickly skips right past the part of the movement that builds the most control. And now, number 1, glute bridges. Lie on your back with your knees bent and feet flat on the bed, positioned about hip-width apart. Before lifting anything, squeeze your glutes together first. Then slowly drive your hips up toward the ceiling by pressing through your heels until your body forms a straight line from your shoulders down to your knees. Hold that top position for 3 seconds, then lower yourself back down slowly, over about 3 to 4 seconds. Repeat 10 times. Here's why this move takes the top spot on today's list. Research following older adults has identified hip and glute strength as one of the strongest protective factors against falls, more predictive in some studies than general leg strength alone. Researchers have even found that the composition of the glute muscles themselves reliably tells the difference between people who experience falls and people who don't. This single movement works some of the most important muscles for keeping you steady on your feet, all day long, every single day. Really focus on that glute squeeze at the top. It's easy to let your lower back take over the movement instead, which means you miss out on most of the benefit. Now, go ahead and make that coffee. You've genuinely earned it, and after everything we just walked through, your body is actually ready for it. But first, let's lock in your checklist. Before your feet touch the floor tomorrow, here's exactly what to do right there in bed. Number 1, ankle pumps, 10 repetitions. Number 2, heel slides, 10 repetitions on each leg. Number 3, supine marching, 10 repetitions on each leg. Number 4, modified single leg lifts, 10 repetitions on each leg. Number 5, glute bridges, 10 repetitions. The whole routine takes just a few minutes, start to finish, and with a little consistency, it can become as natural a part of your morning as that first cup of coffee already is. Which brings us to that surprise we promised you at the beginning. For years, a lot of people have been told to be cautious about coffee as they get older, but recent research actually tells a very different story. A large study following older adults found that moderate coffee drinking, generally somewhere around 2 to 4 cups a day, was linked to a lower risk of frailty later in life. Another long-term study, following thousands of adults over the age of 60 for close to a decade, found that moderate coffee and tea drinkers experienced noticeably slower memory and thinking decline compared to those who drank little or none. So that morning cup you've been enjoying all along may be doing a lot more for you than you ever realized. If you tried today's 5 moves, Let us know in the comments which one you felt the most. This video is for informational purposes only and isn't medical advice. Please talk to your doctor before starting any new exercise routine.